up, all my fine girls? No Pimple is with here again with another video. So today I'm going to be finally doing my Juvia's Place palette collection. Okay, Juvia's Place now has, I don't even know, it's like 40 something palettes of theirs. Okay, and at this point, usually it's a yearly thing, but I just didn't get around to it in the month of December, but we're gonna do it now. Yeah, I want to just kind of talk through this. So it's not gonna be a ranking. Last time I did a video with Juvia's Place, it was like a ranking. I'm not doing that. And then the prior two times I did anything related to like my collection, it was kind of more of like a guide. I want to kind of do it in that format, but more so I'm just gonna be showing you guys the palettes, and then like some of them I might say like, oh yeah, I really recommend this, but it's really just gonna be showing the palettes. Some of these might be available, some of them may not be available. To be quite honest, when it comes to Juvia's Place, I don't want everyone to say things like sold out, or I'm not sold out, discontinued, because literally you can say it was discontinued. You thought that thing was gone, dead and gone, right? And then it just resurfaces on their website randomly. So some of these palettes are not on their website, but when it comes to Juvia's Place, they'll just take it off their website and then it'll pop back up. So who knows? I don't know, but yeah, let's just get into this, okay? So I have every single palette that Juvia's Place has ever put out. The only one I don't have, I guess you could say, is the Nubian mini palette. It's like their 6-pan palette, but it literally is just a condensed version of their regular Nubian palette, so I don't feel the need to own it. And I don't really count that one. But anyways, I have every palette they pretty much put out. So let's start off with the original Nubian. This is where it all started. This is the jump, the beginning, okay? So this is just a standard neutral palette. It was perfect for the time that it came out, because I mean even now until today, in today's day, like a nice neutral palette is always needed. Like, you know, people don't always do crazy colors all the time. So this is perfect. The only thing I would say that I would have just really loved to see that this palette would have had would have been like a darker shade. It didn't have to necessarily be black, and I would have loved the black, but like just something a little bit darker than this. But overall, this is just like a beautiful, stunning, like just neutral palette. The shimmers in here are gorgeous as well. Okay, so next up I have the Nubian 3 Coral. I'm not really doing this in particular order. I'm just kind of like what's here is what I'm going with, okay? So this is a Nubian 3, the Coral palette, and this is what this one looks like. This is like a peach gray palette, super pretty. I don't have a tutorial on my channel using all of these palettes, but I do have a couple of videos. I do have a playlist, so I will link that down below. Anything related to Juvia's Place I do have. But yeah, so this is that palette, just like a pretty peach coral. I love this. I see a lot of people decluttering this one, and I don't know why, because I think it's so stunning. Like, I really like this palette a lot. Okay, so next up I have the Saharan palettes. So they have their Saharan, the eyeshadow palette right here. And this is what this one looks like. Yet again, this is another color story that I really love by Juvia's Place. I love that they have that black in there. The shimmers in here are super pretty. Like, this color is so gorgeous. That one, just like, I mean, overall a really stunning palette that I love here. And then I have both of their blush palettes. So this is the volume 2, and this is what this one looks like. It's just a really pretty, like, yeah, like a nice pretty pink peachy palette. You get this shading here. Like, I like these type of colors for like blush as well too. Yeah, that's really this palette right here. And then they have the Saharan Blush Volume 1, which looks like this. I'm gonna have to change my battery because it's about to die soon. But yeah, this is what this one looks like. This is better suited for like deeper skin tones, but don't, like, listen, these can also be used as eyeshadow palettes as well too. So yeah, that's this one. And then I have the Queen palette. This is the Fumi palette in collaboration with Juvia's Place. And this is what this one looks like. It's just typically, I mean, sorry, not typically. It's just a face palette pretty much. So you can use some of these colors as blushes, or you can use them as eyeshadows, some of them as highlighters. So this is literally just meant to mix and match and literally utilize as a face palette, however you please. Okay, so now I'm gonna move into some bigger palettes real quick. I have the Nubian 2. This is actually my very first purchase from Juvia's Place. This is how I got started into the brand. And this is what this one looks like. And honestly, this palette, when I first got it, I struggled with it because I was still kind of like a novice to makeup. So I had a hard time with colors that are so like just different. I was used to doing a lot of monochromatic looks. Like, I needed different variations of purple, different variations of blue in order for me to do an eye look. But now in this day and age, I feel like I can really come up with some bomb looks with this palette. But yeah, that's what this one is. I would say though, I like for my palette to be a little more matte heavy than shimmer heavy, and I feel like that's something that you might struggle with too if you like that as well too, because it's only 4 mattes in here and like the rest are all shimmers. But I mean, besides that, that's this. I mean, it's a nice palette. And then this one right here is the Wahala palette right here. And that's what this one looks like. I think this is when Juvia's Place started introducing pressed glitters into their palettes. And personally for me, pressed glitters don't bother me, but I know some people just don't like it. So in here you do get 3 pressed glitters. I actually do want to do another look on my channel using this palette, because now that I look back at the original look that I did with this, I don't like it that much. So this is something I want to pull back out and like recreate something different. And also it does have a like a duochrome, multi-chrome in here. This is like a multi-chrome, I would say, yeah. So this is a really pretty palette. And then one of my favorite palettes from the brand is the Wahala 2. Okay, Wahala palette was, you know, it was nice, but Wahala 2, fire. So this is what this one looks like. This is the first time we ever saw square pants from the brand. I was just like, hold on, what's going on here? I personally prefer for my palettes to be square pants. So I love this layout. And of course, we always talk about that shade right there, that beautiful multi-chrome. Yeah, stunning. You get 3 pressed glitters in here. No, sorry, no, 4. You get 4 pressed glitters in here. And yeah, I love this palette. It's really, really pretty. I would definitely recommend that. I don't know if either one of those are available anymore, but like I said earlier in the video, it's Juvia's Place, so it might come back. Okay, so this is the Masquerade palette by Juvia's Place. And this one right here was the first ever time I used Juvia's Place on my channel. So I do have to tour on my channel using this palette. And it's still a top one for me. Like, it's beautiful. I loved the colorful on the top and then the neutral on the bottom. You kind of got the best of both worlds with this palette. You can get really colorful, you can get really neutral. Looking back at this palette now, what I would have preferred, like for me to just use this palette and only use this palette, I would have just needed some deeper shades down here. For the way that I like to do my makeup these days, I need something a little bit just deeper there. But y'all, this purple right here, this shimmer purple, stunning. Okay, stunning. Okay, so we're gonna jump into some like of their 6-pan palettes and whatnot. So these are a little bit more on the recent side, so I'm just gonna like go through these quickly because there's not really much to say about these. Okay, so this is the La Mariposa palette. This is a collaboration palette with Yami Angelina that came out 2020 now. I was gonna say 2021, but 2020. So yeah, this is really pretty. I love this shimmer here, and my camera is not showing it, like it's not doing it justice. This is such a beautiful pink. It does have 1 pressed glitter in here, but yeah, so this is this palette. It's a little like, it's beautiful to look at, but it's kind of hard to create a lot of looks with this palette because it's so limiting and the colors are so different from each other. So this is definitely something that I feel like will pair really well with something else. Definitely not a standalone palette for me. Y'all, my stomach is like growling at me. Okay, listen, stomach, we just gotta get through this video and we can eat, okay? We're almost there. So if I'm talking really fast, because people say I talk too fast, please feel free to utilize the playback feature because I'm sorry, y'all, I can't help the way I talk. Like, I don't even realize it half the time, so sorry. But anyways, okay, and also y'all, I'm really hungry and I really want to I want to get through this video. Anyways, so next up is the Juvia's Place. This is the Vanessa palette, or their collaboration with Vanessa, and this is what this one looks like. Yet again, it's a pretty palette, pretty neutral, kind of boring to be quite honest. Like, this really isn't something that I think to grab all the time. But I mean, if you want something soft, pretty neutral, straight to the point, just, you know, 6 shades, this is perfect. And I love, like, y'all, I love colors like this. I remember when I, like back in my beginning days, I used to love me a good plum cranberry shade. Ooh. Okay, next up is the Juvia's Place, the blushed rose palette. And this is what this one looks like. Like the name says, it's a blush palette. Pretty boring. Not like a lot of these 6-pan palettes, some of them are kind of boring, but like the collector in me, the completionist in me has to have them all. These are palettes, I feel like a lot of them would go really well with other palettes within Juvia's Place's like catalog. So this is not something that I would grab to use all the time. More so, I would grab it for specific colors and use it with other stuff. Okay, next up is the the bronze rustic palette, and this is what this one looks like. Same thing. I mean, this is just a little bit more interesting just because it does have like this deeper shade here, but it's not deep enough like I would like for it to be, but it still is pretty. I feel like this is perfect for somebody who just wants something really soft, really neutral, and you kind of get like a funky color in here. Like, this is fun to play with, but you take that out, like, just look at these 5 shades. This is like perfect for somebody who just wants a nice soft palette. So for my personal taste, I wouldn't grab this just because, but because I like to buy their stuff, I buy them all. But this is really perfect for like that person who just wants a nice soft palette. Okay, so up next are the Allure palettes. So I got all 3 of them, and starting off with the Allure one, this is what this one looks like. Really pretty. It's a peach turquoise teal palette, and it does have like a duochrome here. Like this color actually shifts, and I don't know if it's showing on camera. Yeah, there you go. You kind of see it shifting right there. It's pretty. It's kind of limiting. You can't really do, I feel like I can't do as many looks with this palette. That's what really with all of their 6-pan palettes. But sometimes, actually, no, I take that back, because some of their 6-pan palettes, you can create some looks with them. I just feel like when they're too light and it's just like, it's 2 colors, but they gave you 2 colors with 3 different variations, like the Allure 3, like really, it feels very limiting. The Allure one, that's Allure one. Next up is the Allure 2. This is yet again another stunning palette by them, all blue. I would have preferred for this to have more mattes. It only has 1 matte in here, but these 2 like shimmers up here are not as like sparkly reflective, so they can kind of pull, you can kind of put them in your crease and get away with it. You just kind of have to know what you're doing. And then we have the Allure 3 right here. This one's really pretty. Y'all, this shade right here, when I did my review, this shade actually really shocked me. I didn't think it was gonna be as dark. And honestly, like these palettes, don't they look like, hold on, let me hold this up. Let me, because I swear we done got the same shade in like 3D Zan palettes. Yes, okay, look at this, y'all. I'm gonna hold this up for y'all. Okay, so y'all see that? This is literally what Juvia's Place does. Like, they're not spot on, but they're close enough to where it's like, that resembles something else. Like this, let me just put this down right here, right? These 2 shades, this one right here, and this one right here, look so close to each other. But then when you see them in person, I don't know, man. They do just enough to get by where it's like, you don't even realize it. And then let me hold up, because Vanessa's palette is similar too. Like, I feel like we done seen all of this. Anyways, I digress. I digress. So annoying. Then we have the I Love palettes. This was also part of their holiday collection. This is the I Love. This is not really my favorite color story that they have put out. I feel like this palette, the colors just, I didn't get they look pretty, like just looking at them. Like the colors together look pretty. But when it comes down to creating eye looks with this, I would not pair these 2 colors together. Maybe for 4th of July. Maybe for 4th of July I might whip this out. And then this is the I Love Ice. This is just a standard like pastel periwinkle palette. Now this glitter in here is beautiful, like it's phenomenal. But yeah, that's this palette right here. Okay, let's jump into the quads that they do have. So I have here, this is the Fumi, her Disco Party palette. It is an all blue palette with 2 pressed glitters in here. And yeah, that's this palette. I don't really feel like you could, I don't even think this is, I don't even know. You can't do much. I personally feel like I can't do much with this palette. Like there's only like literally like 2 looks that I probably could create with this, so it's not really my favorite. It's not the one that I think to grab. Next up is the Melissa palette. This is yet again another collaboration palette that they did. They were doing like back-to-back collaboration palettes like end of December 2020 into January of 2021. And so this is what this one looks like. This one I feel like I would utilize more because it does have only 1 pressed glitter in here, and I like these colors and I like how deep this shade is too. So this is really, really pretty. It's something that I would definitely use more, and I feel like you can get good use out of this too as well if you were to like pick this palette up. I mean, it's a pretty quad. Like these are pretty shades. It's a nice palette if you wanted to do the same eye. You know, I always have to remember, if you're somebody that likes to do the same eye look every day, because I forget that there's a lot of people who do their eyeshadow every day, but they do the same three colors, 2 colors. This is perfect for somebody who wants to have just like a routine. Like I want the same eye look every day. This is actually perfect. And then you have that glitter for the day that you do, you know, you want to pop out a little bit, pop out, you know? Then we have the what is this? The Rebel palettes. So we have the grays, which looks like this. It's literally an all gray palette. 2 mattes, 2 shimmers. Oh, actually, no, wait. Is that a matte? I don't know. I haven't even used this palette, you guys. I haven't even swatched this palette. Oh my gosh. I didn't have time to get around to it, you guys. Then we have the Honey. I actually have used this one. This one's a pretty palette. It's, yeah, it's cute. I do like it. You know, this is perfect for just like a very soft, honey-ish looking eye. You would like this. I personally would have liked for a darker brown in there, but you know, there's other stuff that they have that gives me just what I want, so I'm okay with that, you know. Then we have the Rebel Army palette. This is yet again a really pretty green palette. You get 2 mattes, 2 shimmers in here. Stunning, love it. And then we have more of like a pastel palette. This is the Mint, and this is what this one looks like. Literally, at this point, man, I probably would never really get any use out of this. This is something that I would have to pair it with. I would have to pair it with this. Like, I would use these as like transition colors, or if I was in the mood of doing like a pastel eye, like a mint eye, I would think to grab this. But in general, I really wouldn't grab this palette. Okay, so we finished the first stack. Woohoo! Now we're about to move on to the next stack. So now we're gonna go back to some bigger palettes. So this is the Magic palette. This is one of like my favorite palettes as well from the line. And do y'all know why? Do y'all see these dark shades? Oh my gosh, y'all. Like I love like this particular color. I love this color so much. The shimmers in here are so pretty. Like, oh, just look at this green. Like, y'all, this palette is stunning. Like, I love the Magic palette. I highly recommend this palette. If you want something colorful, this is it right here, okay? Like, love that palette. Okay, so I got all their 9-pan palettes here. Let's just run it through, okay? So we have the Nomad right here. A lot of people love this palette. I do too as well. This is just like your, like, grunge palette, okay? If you're looking for like a nice grungy palette, this is it right here. These colors are just, oh, I love just like really like off-putting colors like this. I don't know why, but like they're so pretty as an eyeshadow color. Like anytime else, but like eyeshadow, like depending on certain things, I like that really like pukey looking type of brown, green, like ugh, it's so pretty. Like I love it. Then we're gonna jump into their Warrior palette. So I like when Juvia's Place has like series, like they have like the Allure palettes, the Warrior palettes, the Saharan. Like I like when they do that, the Nubians. It's so much fun. So this is the Warrior palette, the original, the OG, okay? And this is heavily shimmers. Like you get 3 mattes in here. Personally, a standalone palette for my particular taste, not really me, just because this is not as dark as it looks. Like you would think that shade is darker, it actually is not. But shimmer wise, this is a really pretty palette. I feel like people who want like a nice soft palette will love something like this. But I don't like the fact that it's not as I would have preferred for it to have at least 4 mattes in here. But I mean, the next palette I'm going to show you is fine because this is the Warrior 2, and this is an all matte palette. So I feel like this would pair really well with this since you don't have that many mattes in here. So like I say, Juvia's Place, it's a type of brand where you would have to pair a lot of things with other stuff in their collection, and it's so easy to collect their stuff because it's so inexpensive, and I don't know, it's just fun to collect. But anyways, I love this palette. Like this right here is a perfect standalone palette. It's all mattes. That's fine by me. I like a nice all matte every now and then. This black is gorgeous. You guys know I love black eyeshadow, so I get just what I want here. Yeah, this is overall just a really stunning palette. The only thing I would think I would change, I don't think both of these shades were needed. If anything, I would have preferred like more of like a light caramel brown, because I don't feel like this is light enough. I feel like it's like my skin tone. So I would prefer something just a little bit lighter, but you can always like mix this shade and that shade and get something lighter. So that's where the artistry comes in, so you can get really playful and like really creative and start mixing stuff, and you know, like you're a chemist in there and you know, all that jazz. Okay, then we have the Warrior 3, which is just so much different from those. Like they gave you your neutrals and said, okay, now we're gonna give you some color. So this is a rainbow palette pretty much. It has every color in the rainbow in here, and I like how they gave you all the mattes and all the like the rainbow colors are all mattes, and then you get 2 shimmers here. So it's perfect. So yeah, you can get really playful with this, and oh my gosh, y'all, I love purples like this. It's so pretty. Now the orange in here is a little bit muted, but still gorgeous. Okay, this right here is a palette that I love. This color story. This is the Deuce, or is it the Douce? I want to say it's the Deuce. I'm gonna say the Deuce, okay? If it's incorrect, I'm sorry. This is like, y'all, This is one of like their best color stories. I love this. This kind of reminds me of Gimme Glow's Vintage Rose. They're not spot on, but they have similar vibes, like that pink, green, brown color story. That's what this reminds me of. So if you want something like this, but you can't, if this is not available, look into the Gimme Glow. If anything, I think the Gimme Glow one is prettier. I mean, I love me some Juvia's Place, but y'all, the Vintage Rose palette, stunning. So if you want like this kind of color scheme, but this is not available because I don't know if it is, I will look into that palette. But yeah, this is so beautiful. Like the combinations that I can create looking at this, oh my gosh. And then this type of purple pink color is, I love it. Like, oh, I love doing these videos because like sometimes I can just put these palettes away and kind of forget about them because I have so much and I'm reviewing stuff. So it's kind of like a walk down memory lane, like, ooh, I didn't whip that out to create something with it. So yeah. Then we have the Zulu by Juvia's Place. This is like the first time they started their 9-pan palettes, actually. Yes, this is where it started. I believe so, yes. And yet again, this is like a rainbow palette too as well. There's not really much to say about this. It's a nice, cute rainbow palette. Okay, this is probably my favorite palette from the entire line. When I did my ranking was it last year? No, sorry, 2020 when I did my ranking. This, I believe, came in at #1. Y'all, this is such a beautiful palette. This is the Saharan 2. I love this palette. This shade right here, on the strength of this shade alone, makes me love this palette even more. It is so beautiful, gorgeous. Like, when I got my hands on this, I was using this palette like crazy. Like, I love it. Like, absolutely love this palette. Like this, and then the Wahala 2. And then the Magic. Like, those are like my top 3. And I think that's actually how I ranked them in the video. I don't know if the Wahala 2 came after or the Magic, but I know this was #1. Okay, another banger. Like, people love this palette. This is the Tribe palette by Juvia's Place. It's your green palette, okay? If you want your green fix, this is it right here. I love how they put like those like more orangey pumpkin shades in here. I love this shade right here. Like this like neon lime like type of color is so pretty. And I think this is available yet again. This is one of those shades, this palette that they took it away, then they brought it back randomly, didn't tell nobody. I don't know. Like, I really don't know what Juvia's Place, but this is bomb. And then the last 9-pan palette that I have by them is the Festival. And this is what this one looks like. Now, this palette, I feel like the colors in here are pretty, but I don't want to wear these colors together. So I feel like when I look at this sometimes, I'm like, I don't feel as inspired because like, y'all, this shade is beautiful, but I just don't want to wear it with like these other colors. Like, I'm thinking about looks to create, like I would pair it with something else. But overall, it is a beautiful palette. Okay, and then we have the Afrique palette by Juvia's Place. I don't know why I keep saying by Juvia's Place because this whole video is by Juvia's Place. Anyways, so this is what this one looks like. Honestly, this isn't really one of my favorites as far as color story, but individually, like, these colors are pretty. Like, this cranberry shade right here is gorgeous. Like, this shade right here is pretty. I love browns like this. This yellow can be fun to play with, but yeah, that's really this one. All right, so the last stack that we have are more 6-pan palettes, and we are going to be wrapping this video up. Okay, so I have the Nubian Glow right here. Yet again, this is one of my favorites from them as well too. I love purples like this. I love cool toned purples. Stunning. This shade right here, gorgeous. Love it. Then we have the Nubian Glow. Not really my favorite. I just feel like this is just way too light. This is something that I would have to wear it with another palette of theirs. Some of these shades individually are pretty, but as like a whole palette, standalone palette, this is definitely not something that I would gravitate towards in general. Then one of my favorite palettes from them, oh my gosh, I got like stuff on my hand from all these palettes. The heck, how long has this been here? Okay, so this is one of like my favorite palettes from them as well too. Like, I use this all the time. This is the Chocolates. So like I was saying earlier, like some of these palettes I'm like, oh, they're just too light, but it's okay because they have to create stuff that everybody will like. So there's gonna be some stuff that people are gonna like more than others, you know? And so for me, this is my neutral palette from the brand that I love. This is it, okay? You get 4 mattes in here, perfect ratio. 4 mattes, 2 shimmers. This brown, dark, okay, I love it. I love these lighter shades here. This is, and then like sometimes I love creating like a nice chocolatey smoky eye. So I would literally just take this on my outer V, put this like on the lid, and it's just a perfect like chocolate smoky eye. This is something that I would travel with alone and be content. Like I can just create the perfect everyday looks. Like I can create something really soft and I can go really dark with this. Like I absolutely recommend this palette. I love, 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 love this palette. Another one that I love as well too is the Berries. And this is what this one looks like. I mean, y'all, stunning, okay? Like, I love the deep shades, and I love the ratio, 4 mattes, 2 shimmers. This is beautiful. I love these cranberry shades, like cranberry, this dark one, this pink, my kind of girl, okay? Another one that I love from them as well, too, is the Violets. And now this one, they gave us 4 shimmers in here and 2 mattes. But it's still fine, though, because, listen, I got my dark purple. I will be okay sometimes if they give me more shimmers and mattes, but you gotta give me the mattes that I want, okay? And they gave me just that, so that's why I love this palette. And then these shimmers are like stunning. Like, look at this, like this color right here paired with that. Beautiful. Okay, next up is the Nudes by Juvia's Place. This is not for me, okay? This is definitely not for me, but it's somebody who's gonna like this. This is a very, very soft neutral palette. If you're somebody who does not like to play with dark colors, it scares you, you will love this, okay? This is perfect for that person. For me, I like it dark. Give it to me dark. The darker, the better, okay? So yeah, this is a very, very soft palette. And I know a lot of people love shades like this, like brow bone or just like all over the lid. So I feel like there are people who will really actually love something like this. Personally, just not me. Okay, then we have the Sweet Pinks. You guys know pink is like one of my favorite colors. And oh, just look at this, it's so pretty. Pretty, 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 pretty. Okay, I love both of these colors right here. They're just stunning. I mean, y'all, if you're looking for like just a nice pink palette, all pink, the Sweet Pinks. Another one that I really love is the Mauves. Okay, this is beautiful. It's kind of like, it reminds me of, let me actually hold this up. It kind of just reminds me, oh no, I messed this up. Anyways, it kind of reminds me of the Melissa palette. So if you want like an extended version of this palette, because I don't think this is available anymore, look into this. And then also if you don't like the pressed glitter idea in here, look into this palette. This is absolutely stunning, like y'all. And this shade right here, this color right here is so, so, so gorgeous. Now this is only, it's only one shimmer in here. I don't think this color right here is a shimmer. I think it's actually no, I think there's 2 shimmers in here. But anyways, that's this palette. Just a nice mauve everyday palette. And then the last palette, and this is probably my least favorite, okay, of all of their palettes, it is the Taupes. I don't care for this palette at all. Now, these shades, the shimmers, I do like them, but I would not wear them as a whole. Like I would need something like literally the Taupes and the chocolates. Now put these 2 together, I can do some damage with this, like, yes. But by itself, a standalone palette, honestly, I wouldn't even recommend it because Taupes are not really colors that I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards. Unless you're just somebody who likes that, then I mean, never mind. You do you. But this is just not something that's like a palette that I feel like can stand alone by itself. It needs something else to accompany it. So it needs a companion palette. But anyways, that is it. I don't know how many this is. Let me count. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, I lost count. All right, so that was all 45 palettes. I counted them all. Juvia's Place has 45 palettes, and based off their track record, they usually release sometime end of January into February. So I'm hoping it's a good collection because I feel like last year when it came to palettes, I really felt like they didn't care too much. I feel like their energy was definitely put elsewhere, into their skincare line, into like their bronzers or blushes. Like it was definitely on something else. So I'm hoping this year we get some really, really good color stories like we used to, because last year was not it. Like, I mean, the thing that I enjoyed the most was the Allure palettes, and even then I feel like they could have done better. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna bring this year, but I love this brand. I feel like the quality is amazing. Their mattes are some of my favorites. The shimmers, I have experienced better shimmers. Their shimmers aren't bad, they're just really hard pressed, so it's kind of like some work to get them onto a brush. But I mean, you can work that out. But yeah, I mean, that's that with that. And they're super inexpensive. Like these palettes are super cheap. So yeah, that is that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below what is your favorite Juvia's Place palette. Also, comment down below if you have all of them as well too. Tell me if you have all 45 of these palettes, or tell me which ones you do have if you don't have all of them. I want to know. But yeah, that is that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll talk to you beauties later. Bye.